once and you'll never be the same. There, Uri and Tyler, and they're here to entertain. It's the Bantam Boys podcast with Uri and Tyler. Yeah.
Poker is a sport, though.
Poker's a sport?
Because there is skill involved.
Oh, yeah. And there's skill in how you throw the dice.
There
Is roulette a sport?
Roulette's my sport.
Oh, that's true.
There is, I'll say this. I heard this theory. Tell me what you think. In the early 2000s, the World Series of Poker,
Yeah.
WSOP, was coming up. That's when it made its big break.
I don't like WSOP as an acronym or
No?
shortening. I don't like sopping to be brought into anything.
Dubsop. So the Dubsop was coming up, but the real breakthrough moment was this tournament where the winner was kind of a nobody, like a random entrant. I think he had won his office pool or something and gotten admitted in, and he ended up winning on this big dramatic bluff play, and his name was Chris Moneymaker.
Is that his birth name?
I believe so. Some people I've heard recently posited the theory that he was a plant. And the whole thing was set up to promote the World Series of Poker, which became really, really popular right after that. And there was a few years that poker was interesting, and then online kind of ruined everything. And now poker sucks to watch. But there were a few years where it was cool. Annie Duke, a couple other fun players in there. There were fun, they were all like old school Western personalities.
Oh yeah, very. It's such a Vegas thing, so I'm sure that's where you would be if you wanted to get up.
Yeah, there was just a lot of cowboy personalities, but then they all got replaced by nerds.
Oh,
internet nerds who play 4 games of poker at a time. They get good at it like that.
Yeah, people who just got really good at math.
Yeah, exactly. Fucking nerds. This podcast is anti-nerd. We're the Bantam Boys. Yeah. I'm the Beta Boy, Uri,
and I'm. You know who the Alpha is.
Say your name.
It's Tyler.
All right. Yeah.
Don't speak up to me.
Tyler, first of all, has a huge cock. Everybody knows this. Tyler swings down to the knees, and he runs he calls a tune. We all dance to it.
Oh yeah. And next week's tune, it's gonna be Gangnam Style.
we should do that for our intro. It should be
just use Gangnam Style.
Well, I wrote an intro. I recorded a little intro song, which if you're listening to the audio version, you'll hear the intro song, but I don't have any good video to put to the intro song.
We'll put Gangnam Style.
Me and you, we need like B-roll of me and you doing stuff to play during the intro, so one of it should be us doing Gangnam Style for sure.
I thought we would get B-roll of us playing sports in high school.
That would be great if we had. Do you have that footage?
I've got some of it. I mean, my dad has all of it.
I don't. There is a picture of me pinning somebody on the internet, but I don't really have any footage of me.
Yeah, but that wasn't from a sport.
Oh, there's also that. There's also footage of me having sex on the internet, but you'll never find it.
And that one was from a sport.
You'll never find it. You'll never, ever, ever find it unless you just ask me directly.
Yeah, you titled it Operation Phoenix, right?
What's Operation Phoenix?
That's where when no one expects it, you rise again.
Come on, what movie is this from?
I'm sure it's from a lot of stuff.
Oh.
It's in Rick and Morty.
Oh, it's a Rick and Morty reference. All right, very good.
Operation Phoenix,
very
I think,
good.
is used. It's like a very base sci-fi.
It's a cliche kind of thing. Yeah. Well,
Like,
today we're profiling Australian rules football.
Aussie rules, mate.
Aussie rules, also known as footy.
Yeah.
Now, you lived in Australia for a while.
I did, but full disclosure, I did not live in the state that Aussie rules is most popular in.
Is that the state where Melbourne and Sydney are?
So Melbourne is in Victoria, which is where Aussie rules is huge.
There's like 10 teams there.
10 teams out of the 18 teams in the league.
Is it really 10?
Oh, yeah.
I just made up that number.
No, yeah. I wrote 10 teams in Victoria alone.
Okay.
And then all the other states have like 2 teams each.
Sure. Is Sydney not in Victoria?
No, Sydney is in New South Wales.
Oh, I thought Melbourne and Sydney were pretty close to each other.
They are. They're like, I want to say it's the distance from New York to D.C.
That makes sense.
Or maybe New York to Atlanta.
But they're both there on the East Coast.
Yeah,
and
southeast.
on the West Coast is Perth.
And nothing else.
And then Brisbane in the north.
Brisbane is also East Coast, but it's further up.
Okay.
Like the northern part, because there's like that tip that gets thin and pointy at the top. All the big cities are kind of up there. And then it curls around, and Darwin is right around here.
Okay. Now, is there anything else that gets thin and gets pointy at the top?
Well, if you subscribe to our Patreon, you'll find out.
Subscribe to our Patreon. You'll see Tyler's erect penis.
It's very long and very big until it gets right to the top where it gets very pointy.
It tapers off.
It tapers.
Yeah.
It actually...
It's amazing. It's worth the $5 a month.
Yeah, I have this disorder where it's 1 inch, and then it's a half inch, and then it's a quarter inch, and then it's an eighth inch, and then it's a 16th inch.
So it goes on.
It
forever.
always goes halfway. So
it goes
just
on
keeps...
forever, but it becomes microscopic.
Yeah.
tiny.
Oh yeah.
So
yeah.
the whole universe is your cock.
Yeah. Well, but
out.
at a certain point, it's very hard to discern.
It's hard to tell when Tyler's cock ends and where the universe begins. Sidebar: would you put an image of your penis on the internet? Would you do that?
Is this like are do you have a camera? Is this
No,
Is this like are do you want to do this, Tyler?
I'm not going to facilitate it for you. I'm just curious because we know where I stand on this.
Oh,
So the question is, what would you do? Would you put a picture of your penis on the internet?
I think I would put it. I would take one picture, but then divide it into 12 pictures and hide it like a scavenger hunt, so you can find it and put it all together. But you have to follow the clues. It's a lot like it's a lot like National Treasure.
That's for National Treasure Penis Edition. Washington's penis.
But I actually can't put it on the internet because it is so infinitely long that it's like, you know, if you have like during the holidays, if you send like a happy holidays and everyone's out of office keeps replying to each other, it's like that. But
An infinite loop.
an infinite feedback loop.
Your penis is an infinite loop.
It is an infinite loop.
Does it loop around? What's your curvature like?
What's my curvature? It's
Be honest.
all right. I'll be on.
I want to know.
It kind of like swings to the left for the first 3 yards. Yards 4 through 7, straight on. Yards 8, directly 90 degree to the right. Yard 9, forward. So it actually, if you average it all out, there's no curve. But there's a lot of variance.
There's a lot of back and forth.
And a little bit of up, no down.
See,
it does just continue.
Mine, jokes aside, Tyler's a jokester. He likes cracking jokes. I'm going to be serious.
It's time to be serious.
I'm going to be serious here. My cock is directly forward, like parallel to the ground. You could level a shelf with my cock, for sure. And I do. I use
Constantly.
it. I use it as a level.
You are not allowed at IKEA.
I'm not allowed at IKEA or Toys R Us. We should compile a list of places I'm banned from.
Yeah, it's most stores. That's why I order.
I think I'm banned from my high school physics class for
or he talks about minimalism. Oh, I like to keep it minimal. I don't like to, I like to keep everything clean. It's just because he can't buy anything anywhere.
I'm not allowed anymore. I'm banned from eBay.
eBay hates Uri.
Yeah,
his one simple trick.
Yeah, I thought the E stood for ejaculate. That's my fault. That's my fault, but it's kind of their fault. Why would you put an E in your name?
I thought it was a bay that we were filling up. I thought they built a bay, and we're like, oh, well, as a sort of human experiment, we're going to see what happens.
What about this? eBay, but it's EBAE, and it's an electronic girlfriend chatbot who you can talk to, and you get the girlfriend experience. We mail you a fleshlight. You fuck that while talking to your fake girlfriend. eBay.
See, those always seem like a good idea. I tried one, and then 2 minutes in, it just started saying, like, so what are we? And I wasn't prepared to have that conversation, so I was like, oh, this is not good.
No, you guys.
I'll try a different one. And the other one, it was going great. And then the first one popped into the chat with the new one and says, what is this?
I hate when two chatbots start talking to each other.
Yeah, now they're dating and making me watch. It's terrible.
Dude, getting cucked by, I mean, that's happened. There's definitely cucks talking to chatbots.
No, but not having both the chatbots get together and having to watch them.
What about this? What about Scatbot? All right. Let's talk,
Yeah, well, no, go on. Let's flesh this idea out.
well, you'll want to do some flushing afterwards.
I'm sure this is the clip that will go up that I'll put on Instagram so that my uncle can be like,
well,
I've got coworkers who have access to the internet. Most of them do actually have access to the internet.
yeah. Are they looking you up?
Sometimes. I had a new a boss of a boss of a boss who just got who was just hired, shot me a message like, "Hey, I'm going to talk to all the different analysts so I can get to know everyone. Also, I heard you did comedy, so I looked it up. You were really funny." And I was terrified.
That's
Oh yeah,
terrifying.
yeah.
Yeah. Well,
Fortunately, I'm protected by the Third Amendment.
They won't make you quarter soldiers in your
Yeah.
house. Is that the Third Amendment?
I'm pretty sure, and that's what they usually try and do at my company. They
Don't hear a lot about Amendments 3 or Amendments 6 through 9. You hear about 1, 2, and 4,
yeah.
but you don't hear a lot about 3 or really 6 through 10.
They actually follow the Police Academy movies in terms of importance.
Where Police Academy 3 was a dud. But,
Yeah,
but
I wouldn't call that amendment a dud.
one,
I know you really want to have one of them sleepovers. Mom, can the troops come over tonight?
I
guess you can voluntarily do it.
Yeah, it definitely came into effect during. It was useful probably during the Civil War. That amendment was probably enforced.
Yeah, I mean, I think quartering troops kind of stopped at a certain point.
Yeah, nobody
At
was
least in the
quartering
US.
troops in Dub 2 like that. By that point, it wasn't a factor.
Yeah. Yeah, they just got a bunch of Airbnbs. They went to a Radisson.
The government just has 10 air mattresses. You just come home. There's 10 soldiers living there. The terms of service said you're gonna have 4 people here. Oh no.
Oh, jeez.
some lieutenant is just like, guys, keep it down. The owner.
Why does he have this deep bassy voice?
He's a lieutenant.
Yeah.
He's just,
Now, what we're going to do today is we're going to establish a perimeter.
all right, boys. It's time for us to hit the shower.
Yes, Lieutenant.
Oh no. The soldiers are not 12. They're
Why
not
do you
12.
think that was a 12-year-old's voice?
That was the same voice you used for 12-year-old Tyler?
I do not know. 12-year-old Tyler's more up here.
Same voice. You just listeners write in. He did the same voice twice. One was sexual, and I didn't appreciate it.
And the other wasn't 12-year-old Tyler.
Oh my god.
Yes.
Let's talk about footy.
We should, yeah.
Yeah. So footy, Australian rules football.
Yeah.
First of all, it was a lot less like rugby than I thought it was going to be.
Oh, yeah. It's entirely different.
Yes. It's played on basically the reason it's an oval
Yeah.
is because the sport originated with cricketers
Yeah.
in Australia playing like there was that whole period where American football, soccer, and rugby were all kind of the same.
Yeah, it was just a general concept of a sport with a ball that you either kicked or threw or punched. Every country had like 12 versions.
Yes, there was. I call it proto football.
You
Right.
call it that.
I just dubbed it.
You no one else thought of it as proto football.
Is that? What
I think
people
it's the
call it?
common term.
That's the common term.
It's like, oh, the
proto-football?
proto football.
I dub it proto football. Uri Shatil copyrights proto football. Is that a copyright law?
You just say copyright.
Yeah,
Copyright.
Speaking of copyright, our podcast is brought to you by Hustle Milk.
Hustle milk.
Hustle Milk, the only milk product not approved by the FDA.
Those udders be quick.
No, but if you're listening along at home, you can go down, but pause the podcast, go down to your corner store, buy a Yoo-Hoo chocolate milk and a 5-Hour Energy, and mix those, and you're drinking Hustle Milk.
Is half of this podcast just you trying to get people to drink 5 Hour Energy? Like this is your equivalent. Like, you can't go out in the playground and pay that one kid $10 to eat a bug. So now you're doing this via a podcast.
It's a much higher effort version. Yes, I am trying to poison people. I probably will be liable if somebody mixes Yoo-hoo and 5 Hour Energy. That does not sound like a sane thing to do.
Dude, what if it's good? What if we're sitting on a gold mine here?
We're gonna find out next week.
That this is gonna cure all illnesses.
We could probably get a sponsor to brew us Hustle Milk. Because listen, let's.
No, we got to make it ourselves. It's a proprietary formula that we keep saying during the show.
Yeah. Which involves two other brand
Two
name
unrelated
products.
brands.
Yeah, I will say there are. If you go down to the corner store,
to your dairy.
if you go down to the dairy market,
If you don't mind me asking, who's your milk guy?
you will. There are a lot of canned beverages at every gas station that are basically caffeinated milk beverages. It's like they're like,
it's called iced coffee.
yeah, but it's
an iced
it's in a
latte.
can and it's really really sweet, and it's also not just coffee. They also put extra caffeine and taurine and stuff in there.
Yeah, have you ever wanted a caffeinated beverage with more of an umami? With more of an umami kick?
Umami.
Have you ever really wanted a lot of milk in your belly before going on a marathon sprint?
I will say this. You could drink Yoo-hoo before a marathon.
You could you could do a lot of things before a marathon. It doesn't make it good.
you drink some hustle
You drink some
milk.
hustle milk, you'll win the marathon.
Yeah. You'll win the marathon, and all the spectators will be saying, "Ooh, mommy."
Yeah, every person who's won the marathon and died 10 minutes after drank 12 hustle milks.
We should do a special segment because we're a sports podcast.
Yeah.
We should do
You can tell by how much we talk about our favorite imaginary brand of milk.
we should do a special episode about people shitting themselves during foot races.
Yeah.
Yeah, that could be its whole own category.
What level are we capping as the minimum level of importance? I don't want to be talking to someone who shit themselves during a 5K.
No, if you shit yourself in a 5K in the warm up line.
Well, look, it can it almost happened to me.
Go on.
Well, it was like a 5K before the 4th of July, and I don't know if it happens to you, but sometimes I go running in the morning. It hits that, like, your body gets moving, and it's like, it's time to go, man.
Yeah.
And if you're at the wrong part of your run, you're toast. I was at the top of a very large hill, a hill that you're probably very familiar with, Corey Hill in Brookline.
You ran up Corey Hill?
I ran most of it.
Well, good news is, you know what they say?
What?
Shit rolls downhill.
It does, but that's also the direction of my apartment. I'm not shitting, and then having to have it slowly roll down after me.
It snowballs.
Yeah, it gets getting bigger and bigger.
Picks up twigs, other animal shit, some bird shit, some dog
Yeah, it's
shit.
Katamari Damacy style. It's picking up like cans of soda and
Cars.
Yeah, cars, and I'm just sprint. It's like Indiana Jones of my own demise.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Is that a golden idol? No, it's corn.
Oh no, not corn. Not the corn. Okay. You're right that when you go running, it starts shaking stuff up,
Yeah.
right? And that definitely. I ran 2 seasons of cross country when I was in high school, and having to poop on the go was a big issue for people at practice.
So that's why we developed our new product.
That's why you got to get some hustle milk. That's what we're going to be bringing to the Brookline High School.
Yeah, because you're no longer
cross-country
going to have to worry about pooping on the go. It just leaves. it just goes.
Well, the point of hustle milk is that you take the bottle with you.
and you fill it back up. You fill it back up.
This is too gross.
Oh, is this too gross?
Yeah, I'm comfortable with cum stuff, but shit stuff, there's a limit.
We were all. Everyone was waiting at the finish line for the cross country, and then we heard the jangling of bottles. As Ori, you come out with your sack full of bottles of
do they have hustle milk?
Refilled hustle. Well, I hope you kept track.
I think you can tell. I think you can tell.
That's the thing a lot of people don't realize about hustle milk is that it's sold piping hot.
Oh my Lord. Oh, that is vile.
They don't keep it in the freezers. They keep it on those hot dog rollers. The little bottles of hustle milk rolling around in the heat.
Just until the first customer comes by and grabs one with their koozie. Oh. I really hope hustle milk is good. We're gonna try it next week. We're gonna mix a 5-hour energy and a Yoo-hoo.
Well, are we gonna do the flight where we try the same Yoo-hoo but with different energy drinks?
We'll get there.
We'll get there. We'll do a flight.
Let's do one at a time.
Yeah, this is a sports podcast that will quickly turn into one of those. What if we just eat gross things podcast?
Yeah.
We do have the 24-hour challenge.
24 bacon, egg, and cheeses from 24 bodegas in 24 hours.
Yeah.
Why
did you sound so sad?
Because I've thought about whether or not we should do this, and it really bums me out.
It bums you out that we have to.
It bums me out that
This is our Everest.
It bums me out that we're gonna do it, and there's gonna be maybe 5 listeners if we're lucky. We're just gonna torture ourselves for 5 people. And and for me, it's a move in the wrong direction. And I'm also
it's a move in the wrong direction.
Yeah, I'm trying to eat better, and that's going to be horrible. And I'm also concerned that I'll never be able to enjoy an egg and cheese again.
I'm more concerned that I'll never feel like I'm living again. That every day will be worse than that day.
You're looking forward to it.
I think it's gonna be a great moment in my life.
Does it start at midnight?
You can choose when to start. What do you think would be the best time to start?
I would start it at maybe 11 or midnight, and then I would be hungry already, and then at midnight I would eat 3, and then go to bed, and then wake up and eat like 2 for breakfast, and then kind of go from there.
All right. So you're not doing 1 per hour.
Well, that doesn't work because you have to sleep.
No, I'm buying all 12, and I'm putting them in my oven at a warming temperature.
And then once an hour you go take one.
Once an hour my alarm goes off. I wake up and stumble in.
No, I'm gonna have to work up an appetite. I wouldn't be able to just sit in my apartment. I would have to go like run 10 miles, work up an appetite, and then eat a bunch more, and then do a lot of walking. I would have to be moving to make this work.
I think we can do this. I'm really excited about this. Do you think it would be better to do it when it's hot or when it's cold?
I think either way will be worse. I think it's the worst thing we can possibly do, and I don't want to do it. And we will do it, and nobody will care. It won't make us famous.
But it will make us whole.
I think, you know what, Tyler? I think this might just be a you project, and I can be the document. How's that sound?
Yeah, well, one day when you see me and I'm floating 3 feet in the air, ripped abs,
I'll know that you did it.
Long, flowing blonde hair. I'll have unlocked the secret. It's what RFK Jr. has been trying to tell us this whole time, is you eat 24 bacon, egg, and cheeses in one day.
Do they have to be from 24 different stores?
Ideally?
Is that a rule or not?
I don't know. I'll call the council.
That was originally part of the rule. If it's just the same store, that guy's going to think you're crazy.
That would be great. Showing up but in a different T-shirt once an hour to order a bacon, egg, and cheese. The first hour, he's like, oh, that was weird. By hour 10, he has no clue what's going on.
Dude, this makes me sick even thinking about it. Are you going to wash it down with the hustle milk?
Well, that's how I power through.
All right, let's talk about
You don't have to worry about getting full when you're drinking hustle milk. Hustle milk. You'll be empty.
Let's talk about footy. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, like I said, it was invented by cricketers, so it's played on an oval field. It's a modified cricket pitch.
Yeah, with the four goalposts on each side.
Yes, 2 tall ones in the middle and then 2 shorter ones outside of it.
Yeah.
The other interesting thing was, there were a lot of interesting things, but basically the only way to score is by kicking the ball. The ball looks like a rugby ball.
Yes, but it's more kind of rounded.
Yeah, it's not exactly the same. It's also got a flatter texture to it.
Yeah.
A smoother texture. And the only way to score is by kicking it through the goalpost. There's no try or touchdown factored in.
Yeah, and it's a punting style kick. It's a drop kick.
It's a drop kick. Even a free kick is a drop kick. All the kicks, but it's not a drop kick because the ball doesn't hit the ground before you kick. It's a punt.
Yeah. I said a punting style kick.
Yes, but
then you said drop kick, and then you talked to me like I said drop kick.
Listener, go to the tape. He said drop kick.
This is a couple minutes there. I'm a big baby. It's a drop kick, not a punt. I'm Uri Chattel. Now we're back at the regular
That's
speed.
a good impression. I just want to make the distinction for the listener because in rugby, there is a drop kick where you let the ball touch the ground first and then kick. But this is a punting style kick where you just kick it right out of the air. And you can also, that is also a form of passing, is where you like punt it, which is also in rugby a similar thing. You punt it to your teammate. And what was also interesting that I didn't know about is you're not allowed to throw the ball.
Yeah.
You have to punch the ball out of your hand.
Yeah, volleyball style.
Yes, but it's different. It's like it's a pass unlike any other style of pass I've seen in any other sport where one hand has to hold the ball and the other hand comes and punches it out.
Oh, yeah. It's just like volleyball. I guess volleyball serves are usually supposed to be overhand, but when you're a kid, you kind of do the underhand first. It's that kind of like you punch it
like
like
an underhanded volleyball serve. Yes,
don't forget about the dribbling,
like a novice, and then you dribble, but again, not like a basketball dribble.
No,
it's like a wheelchair basketball dribble where you dribble every 15 meters.
Yes.
So you take a few steps and then you dribble, and then you take a few steps and then you dribble.
Yeah, it's bizarre to watch because it seems like they don't need to dribble because they're running, and then just every now and then, bounce and go.
Yeah, and I was reading about how that 15 meters is a pretty loose definition.
Yeah,
it's just the referee's discretion, basically.
They know when they say it's also kind of that way in basketball though with travels with NBA ball. At least. Yeah, they're like all right, that's 3 steps, that's fine.
Yeah, I mean,
you get paid $10 million a year. You can.
That's
you
famous in NBA, but that's new. That's not how the sport is supposed to be technically. That's just the new NBA. They do that to let the games get score
to make it a little more fun.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised if there's something similar in Aussie rules where maybe the more famous players get a little more leeway.
Probably. That's probably very true. The other thing that surprised me was because I thought it was similar to rugby. You are allowed to that punching move. You can use that to move the ball forward.
Oh yeah, all directions.
All directions. There is no sense of you have to pass backwards. So the tactics is not at all like rugby tactics.
Yeah.
It's more like soccer tactics.
But it's more contact forward as well.
Of course, there's tackling.
There's
full
what was it
tackling.
called?
Specky?
Shirt front.
What's shirt front?
That is a type of tackle where you basically chest bump the other guy. Just running straight at him, just bam. It's called shirt fronting.
Interesting. And when you get tackled, you have to dispose of the ball.
Yes. And there's also the mark.
Yes,
come
this
across
is a
that?
huge part of the game. The mark. You explain this.
Yeah, it's so there's the punching to pass the ball and everyone keeps running. But when you punt it, if your own team punted the ball and you catch it without it bouncing, it's called a mark, and then you get to kind of set up and reset the game or kick.
You get a free kick. But important to note 2 things. First of all, when you for it to be a mark, the kicked ball has to travel at least 15 meters.
Yeah, you got to boot it. It's got to go.
Well, 15 meters isn't that long.
You got to boot it.
But no, if you do a short kick and it gets to another player, then the referee will say play on.
Yes.
Also, even for a long kick, taking the mark is optional. You're allowed to still play on.
Yeah.
I believe.
Yeah. It usually you take the mark when you're in scoring range, and you're like, all right,
Yes.
we're gonna just
Which brings me to a player profile. Can we do a player
Ooh,
profile?
let's do it.
Okay, so I profiled a player named. Let me pull up his name. His name is Nick Rewald. Okay, he leads the AFL all-time marks.
Yeah,
So this, you can think of the equivalent in American football as he's a really good receiver.
yeah.
He like has the most receptions of any player, sort of. And he played for a team called St. Kilda.
Yeah.
And this I found the St. Kilda Saints.
Of
Which
course.
why don't we have that? Why are none of did the New Orleans Saints start in St. Louis?
No,
They
New
started
Orleans
in
is
New
just a very Catholic city.
Oh, and it's named after also the song "Oh When the Saints Go Marching In." That's like a jazz like
was
big band
beautiful.
number.
Yeah,
I
we
can
do
sing.
have the St. Paul Saints.
Oh, that's neat.
Yeah, that's the minor league baseball team that Bill Murray owns.
See, I like that.
Yeah.
I like that a team with Saint in the name has a team called the Saints, like the St. Kilda Saints.
Do you remember they had a famous bobblehead,
The
St. Paul Saints?
What was the bobblehead of?
So there was a member of Congress who got caught in the Minneapolis St. Paul airport soliciting sex.
The wide stance, the tapping the foot.
Yes.
Yeah.
So they made a they said, oh, we're doing a bobblehead night off of, it was like the mascot, but then when you got there, the bobbleheads were an airport bathroom stall with 2 feet, and one of the feet would bobble.
that is amazing.
Oh yeah,
That's
No,
amazing.
top tier. I do want to know how parents explain that to their kids.
We should find that bobblehead.
Oh, I'm sure it's out there. I'm sure
I would
it's
go on
$50.
eBay. I would get that. You know what else I want? I want an authentic Enron mug,
Ooh,
like an Enron corporate mug. And there was also a this is a nice piece of memorabilia. There was a company handbook circulated called the Enron Code of Ethics.
Ooh,
And
that's a good one.
Yeah, it's a popular eBay item.
Mm.
But anyways, this player, Nick Rewald, one thing I found fun was he was born in Tasmania,
Yeah.
and his father's name was spelled Joerg, but it's pronounced. They say it's Joe. Like Wikipedia is like, his name is Joe, but it's actually spelled Jer. That's how it's spelled. Jer.
Jar.
Jer.
It's actually just how it's
Hello,
pronounced.
my
as
name
well.
is
I'm
Jer.
Jar.
Jer.
Jar?
That is, but it's spelled like it's spelled in the accent.
It's spelled in the accent.
Which is amazing. Now, the one thing that's a bummer about this guy, okay,
Mm.
he was a first-round draft pick. He was filthy, captain of the team, never got a ring. Like Charles Barkley. He's
Yeah.
the Charles Barkley of the AFL.
Oh yeah.
Twice in the finals. And this I found super interesting. So 2009, they lost the finals 80-68, whatever. 2010, the finals match was a draw. Now, we didn't talk about the scoring yet, but basically there's 2 ways to score. If you get through the main uprights, that's 6 points.
Yeah.
But if you hit one of the posts or go between like the outside uprights, that's 1 point.
Yes, a
behind.
behind.
A behind.
A behind.
A behind. It's a behind. Behind. That's funny.
Let's not even try. You know how Australians talk.
That's a good impression. I think you're doing good.
Oh no.
So this finals match that was a draw, one of the teams had 9 goals and 14 behinds.
yeah.
And the other team had 10 goals and 8 behinds. So those 1 point behinds did factor in.
Of course.
They are a factor. And when you read the scoreboard of an AFL game or any Aussie rules football game, you read there's 3 numbers. There's the goals, the behinds, and the total. And so they drew in the finals, and so a week later they played again and they got blown out 108-52.
Oh.
Yeah, that's tough.
You got to stop focusing on the behinds.
Yeah,
Get those goals.
Nick Rewald never got his title. So it's sad. It's sad to see.
R.I.P.
Most marks ever. And I watched some of his highlights. He had some great tackles.
More
too.
marks than that guy trying to sell the Brooklyn Bridge.
Oh, I got a bridge to sell you. All right, you got to play. Let's do a player profile.
Player
Tyler.
profile. I had Ron Barassi,
I love this name.
son of Ron Barassi.
Okay, was there a junior in his name at all?
I don't I don't believe so.
No, it's a George Foreman situation.
Yes.
Okay.
I also may not remember his dad's name.
Okay. Oh.
And I'm just BSing.
Okay.
He was interesting. So he came into the league in 58 or 56 or mid 50s. Amazing player, most goals scored like 2 or 3 times, like most goals scored in a season. Played for Melbourne.
Was this the AFL at this point, or was it still the Victorian Football League?
I believe at this point this was the Victorian Football League, but he was very instrumental in expansion and getting it into being a nationwide sport.
Nice.
An interesting thing with him is the Melbourne Aussie rules team petitioned the league to install a father-son rule because his dad played, and so they created a father-son rule. So if your father played for a certain team, that team would have first right of refusal or preferential recruiting for their son.
So he could play on this. It was a brawny situation?
His dad was unfortunately died in World War II. But they wanted, so even though his dad wasn't playing anymore, I believe it was when it started, if you had played 50 games for one team, that team would then had preferential rights to your son.
Okay, so you could play for the same team your dead dad played for.
Yes.
Wow. But your dad doesn't have to be dead.
Doesn't have to be dead. Right? No, that would have been a weird bonus rule.
Bonus rule?
Bonus rule.
Well, that's neat. So what team did he play for? Was it the Melbourne Hawks?
I believe so.
Or the Melbourne,
I had just written down
Demons?
Melbourne. Oh, yes, it was the Demons.
Yeah, the Melbourne Demons.
The Demons.
Right. The
Actually,
Demons.
Just not even trying.
I could try. You want me to try an Australian accent?
You know what? Let's go for it.
Okay, well, I have to get into it with a classic. I'm sorry. If there's Australians watching, this is so stereotypical. This is how I get into it. I go, "G'day, mate. All right, he's a right cunt." Now, I know.
Yeah, no.
I noticed a few teams that were similar in name to American football teams.
Yeah.
They have the Lions.
Yeah.
The Blues.
Yeah.
Excuse me, that's not a football team, but American teams in general.
That is a rugby league team.
The
Australia.
Blues.
Yeah.
Very good. Perhaps the same club.
Yeah.
They have a team called the Giants, the Hawks, the Saints, which we already talked about, the Eagles. Now, they also had the Bulldogs, which is an American college team. Uni, mate. The Demons, which is similar to the New Jersey Devils, but they have an expansion team joining the league in 2028.
Yeah.
The Tasmania Devils. Would you look at that? How did I dare?
I don't think I'm allowed to go back to Australia now that they've seen me with this.
That was okay.
Yeah, that was okay.
It was okay.
It was okay.
I tried.
You did try. I'm not
really
saying
tried.
you didn't try.
I really, really tried.
All right, stop swinging.
But no, I thought that was cool that their team names, because like European team like soccer team names aren't like that at all.
Yeah, it's definitely like Europe. It's always just the town and whatever club.
It's like FC Milan or whatever.
Yeah. Australia, I mean, it's just, I think it has to do with the closeness of cities together. Just based on Europe to Australia and the U.S. and even Canada with how teams are named.
Right, because with Australia, there's a lot of land, but only certain pockets of it are habitable.
Yeah, if I remember, it's 80% of the country lives within 10 miles of the coast.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah. So all of the teams are really, especially in Victoria, they're really, really concentrated.
10 miles, I'm now thinking, sounds very thin, and maybe that's true.
Yeah, it could be. It could be. I mean, and that's only 80% of the population. That's not everybody.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, that's like 20 people. which
Well,
is 80% of the population.
That was neat. And did you watch a little bit of footy when we were researching this?
I did watch some. I mean, I've played it in like gym class.
Yeah. The tackling. What do you think of the tackling?
Tackling's great. It's just kind of smashing into people.
Yeah, it's
Especially when they're going up for a mark. That always terrifies me. Someone going up for a jump and just smashing into them. It's something about tackling when someone's at like at the high point of a jump and then being knocked around. It just terrifies me.
Yeah, I will say for a game with no pads, I was expecting the tackling to be more like rugby tackling.
No.
Rugby tackling is pretty civil.
Yeah.
It's like a double leg takedown. But footy tackles were more like American gridiron tackles.
Yeah.
They were upper body, really, really heavy hits.
And taking a run up. It's not like rugby where you might tackle someone just
you're usually moving in the same direction
Yeah.
and then you wrap them up. This footy looks like a brutal sport.
Oh my god, yeah. People just smashing into each other, getting hit, smashing down, neck injuries are my least favorite injury. I know it's a complicated take, but
God.
Ugh.
Well, what would be your strategy then? How would you win in footy?
Oh, my strategy, I'm hiding the opponent's sunscreen.
Okay, because they're all white people in Australia?
Well,
They're not all white.
They're not all white, but Australia has the most powerful UV radiation.
Really?
Yes. That's where the hole in the ozone settled over. So their skin cancer rates are absurd.
Really?
Yeah.
The hole in the ozone is over Australia?
Yeah, it's kind of over. It was. They then did laws to counterbalance the chemicals, the PFAS chemicals.
I didn't know there was a literal hole in the ozone.
What do you mean? You didn't? That was what it was. It's a hole in the ozone.
I thought that just meant that the amount of ozone in our atmosphere was depleting. I didn't realize there was a literal hole.
It was collecting in a certain area, and part of that was over Australia.
Well, that's terrifying.
Yeah, unless I'm wrong, in which case, don't comment on it.
So you're stealing sunscreen.
Yes, they're getting sunburnt.
They're burnt.
They're burnt.
There's 4 quarters to play.
Yeah.
So
It happens real quick in Australia.
Do you kind of rope-a-dope then? Do you kind of like the first quarter you're just weathering the storm, managing?
Well, you do
letting
this
them get
weeks in
burnt?
advance. I've been swapping out their sunscreen for tanning oil.
So it's a melanoma-based approach. You're giving them all skin cancer.
Really, my goal was just for them to be sunburnt, so that when they try and take a mark, it just smacks into their body, and it's just that sunburn that.
I've got a sunburn sports story.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So my younger brother was really, really sunburnt on his shoulders, and he had this was in the off season. We went to an off-season wrestling tournament,
Right.
hosted at UMass Boston, and we go. His shoulders are wicked sunburnt. He goes up against some kid, filthy kid. Ended up being like all-state runner-up or something, and obviously wrestling around with sunburns.
Yeah, no, that's
hurts.
a bad time.
And the way he described it, he said it felt like I had no skin left on my shoulders. You're wearing a singlet too. That singlet is digging in. But I didn't know this, and after his match,
You slap him on the back.
I walked right up to him. I gave him a 2-handed shoulder, boom, and like made a nice slapping sound. He screamed out. To this day, he says it's one of the most excruciating things he ever experienced. Worse than the match itself.
I'm almost surprised you guys aren't estranged after that. That is a pain like no other. That hard slap on a sunburn.
Not just a sunburn that just
had been freshly roughed around.
roughed up.
Everything opened up. It just tender.
Yeah, I mean there was definitely not a lot protecting him from me and my assault. But I was just being like a dad, like a coach, like
you were just being a dad to your brother.
I was just being like a coach, like
yeah.
Good try, kid.
Yeah, because you made him call you daddy after.
No. Oh no. No. All right, moving on. My strategy. Jesus Christ.
What's your strategy? Is it anytime they go up for a mark, you grab their pants, so when they're jumping, they get fully pantsed?
You had your opportunity. That would have been a good strategy. Taking out other people's cocks without their consent is
Well, you don't grab the underwear.
huh?
You don't grab the underwear, too.
So what's the point?
I don't know. 'Cause then they...
What's the point? No. When they go up for a mark, I grab them by the pants. They jump up for the mark. I just start sucking their cock right there. I deep throat them so they can't. They
can't catch the ball.
They're too distracted.
They're too like, oh.
And then it's a turnover.
It's a turnover.
My team gets the ball back.
The difficulty is that when they start coming down, you then have to hold them.
The difficulty is that because of the hole
you keep falling in love.
Because the hole, the ozone layer, I have sunburns in my throat. So,
because you've been waiting for so long.
Yeah. So every time I deep throat a guy, it hurts like my little brother at that wrestling match. My throat is being roughed up constantly.
Stop! I've got sunburn.
Everybody else before the match, they're like stretching their hamstrings and their chest and stuff.
They're doing jaw.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm just gargling pebbles. trying to warm up.
Yeah, just really getting it ready. You're doing poppers.
Poppers don't work. Can I give
Not
you my
with that
strategy?
attitude.
Can I give you my
Wait, that
strategy?
wasn't it?
No, you said that.
No, I did not say suck their dicks.
No.
I said, oh, you can pull their pants out. You like when you pants someone, and then they'll land, and then their pants will be around their ankles, so they'll trip. And you're like, all right, well, what if I took your idea? Added a little Ori secret to it.
No.
What if instead of just pulling their pants down,
I spread their cheeks.
I spread their cheeks.
Stick my tongue right in their anus, and then they're reaching back. You ever done the?
They're reaching.
You ever done when somebody's in your ass? You ever done the reach behind? You put your hand on their head. You're like, oh, easy there, easy.
No, I don't do bits. I'm not doing
That's
bits.
not a bit. I need them.
No, it sounds like you're doing a
I need you
bit.
going a little easy.
Whoa, hey, easy slugger.
Oh God, that's the best. My strategy is going to be kangaroo based. Okay.
So yeah, this kangaroo's out here.
I'm gonna get in a kangaroo's pouch, and I'm gonna go down the field. This kangaroo's gonna be hopping, so that way when the other team kicks, right, they're going up for the mark. I got way more jumping power in this kangaroo. So the kangaroo jumps, and then I jump out of the pouch. I'm 10 feet above any other player. I make the catch, and then I got to tuck and roll so I don't, break my knees every time. And then boom, I'll never miss a mark ever with my kangaroo strategy.
Does the kangaroo count as a player on the team?
Kangaroo? It's a kangaroo. What are you talking about?
They
It's
have
like when
full
there's
citizenship.
Australia.
Yeah, they vote. They vote hard.
It's like when there's a pigeon on the field in baseball, like a bird flies by and gets hit by the pitch.
And I think if a pigeon flies on the field, you should have to take a player off.
Yeah, it's a pinch runner.
It's a pinch runner. I think if a squirrel gets into the stadium, that counts as a player.
Yeah. Introducing for the Toronto Blue Jays, an actual Blue Jay. That bird sound no better than my Australian accent. That's fun. So
anyway,
let's do this as part of the segment now. What
did
was
you know kangaroos have 3 vaginas?
Really?
Yeah.
That's kind of sick.
Yeah.
What do they fuck 3 guys at once? What do they do with the 3 vaginas?
The gentleman never tells.
Is that a real fact?
It is. It is.
Can they gestate 3 babies at once?
I don't believe so.
No, it's just a kind of a pick your dealer's choice.
It's a choose your own adventure.
It's a dealer's choice situation.
I believe one is
one's for queefing, one's for fucking, and then the other one is for getting pap smears.
The other one's a free space.
Why do you need 3 vaginas and a pouch? How many?
Well, they're in the pouch.
How many voids does this?
How many voids?
Does this kangaroo need? Wait, the vagina's in the pouch?
Yeah.
How does the boy kangaroo get his dick in there?
You gotta get in the pouch.
Is his dick shaped like a hook? What's going on? Does he go down into the pouch and then fuck inside the pouch? What the hell are you talking about? They don't do it Roo style?
Roo style.
Yeah, Roo style. You've never done it Roo style?
No, I don't think that's a style.
Yeah, it's a style. What are you talking about? You never climbed into a chick's pouch?
Just into her pouch or her pouch? That's two different.
No, you just get up there in the pouch.
You just get up there.
Let her ride you around. You need a girl who's at least like 6'4", but
with a
it's good time.
huge pouch.
Yeah. Dude,
She's got to have a pouch.
she's an Optimus Prime.
Does Optimus Prime have a pouch?
Yeah, dude. What cartoons are you watching that you don't know this stuff? Optimus Prime is a truck. He is a conveyance. Obviously, he can take passengers in his gut.
You know, now that I think about it, a lot of cars have the little pouches on the backs of seats, so I guess he does have multiple pouches.
Yeah, that's actually true. Right.
Now that I think
only
about
in car
it.
form.
Not only in car form. Well,
car form.
The pouch has to stay there. It's going somewhere.
He's got a glove compartment. That's funny. Optimus Prime's glove compartment. What's in there? Some mints. The manual.
Please check my glove compartment. It has the Omnicron.
You go to the glove where you just hear, "Oh yeah."
Oh, I'm a robot in disguise. There's no disguising my feelings.
Nice, dude. Optimus Prime getting fucked through the glove compartment. That's good.
Autobots,
That's
pull out. It's terrible.
No, Autobots pull out is funny. It's funny. You got to give yourself credit for that. That's pretty good.
No, I don't.
This is the segment of the show where
You know what?
where I pat
think we
Tyler
should
on
be
the
able.
back.
I think we should be able to give other people credit for bad things you say. So I can't take credit for that. That's Dave. And it's on him now.
Dave was the one who imagined Optimus Prime getting fingered in his glove compartment and then saying Autobots pull out.
Autobots pull out.
Autobots pull out is great. That's so funny. I don't know why you're embarrassed about that. That's so funny. That's going to be our slogan.
You know why I'm embarrassed about it? It's because when Easter comes around, I'm going to go home and my uncle's going to come up to me and be like, Autobots pull out, huh? I'm never
We're gonna start doing episode titles. The title of this is Autobots Pull Out. That's the title.
Getting further and further away from the realm of sports.
No, we talked a lot about Aussie rules football. I think we actually gave a pretty good overview of what it's like.
If you've listened to this podcast, you have played 2 matches.
Yeah, there's 18 clubs in Australia, and there is somewhat of a world scene. But it is considered a domestic sport. There are some clubs elsewhere.
Did you look into the Aussie rules football versus Gaelic football?
Not really. That is something that we discussed a little bit, that there's Gaelic football is a very similar sport and that they play an international rule set.
Yeah, they play, because Gaelic is in Ireland only. It's a similar rule set. I forget the exact nuances. There's more of a soccer goal, things of that nature. But once a year, they have the best Aussie rules players and the best Gaelic rule players play a sport that kind of splits the middle of the two sports, like the Venn diagram.
Yeah.
And it's pretty cool. It's a sport that's only played in this international setting.
Do you know where that game is played? We should go. We should go to one of these weird sports we're profiling. We should go to a competition.
I mean, I'm pretty sure they play it in Dublin and in Australia. I think they do a home and away.
Each. Well, I'm not going that far, but
that idea quickly petered out.
No, I wanted to watch a bandy game in New York. I don't know if they have it around.
I bet we could find Aussie rules in New York.
Yeah,
I bet if we hang out outside the Australian consulate with a football,
it won't be that good though. It won't be like an AFL game. These AFL games have 100,000 spectators.
Oh yeah,
it's hugely popular over there.
Yeah, well, you can fit a lot more people in the stadium since it's ginormous.
What's more popular in Australia, footy or rugby?
It depends on the state. If you're in Victoria, Aussie rules football. If you're in New South Wales, they do rugby league.
Rugby league?
Yes.
That's different than what I played in high school, right?
Yes, that you played rugby union.
Okay.
Well, and what makes it interesting in Australia is because they have these sort of not individualized, but these sports that use the same skills, but it's different by state. There are, an example of this would be Jared Hayne. There are players who are very good. They're very great athletes, and the leagues are competing against each other to have them play their sport.
That's so interesting.
So, I mean, I guess Patrick Mahomes also got drafted to Major League Baseball and things
There
like
have
that.
been a few of those. There's some baseball, football athletes.
But-
Michael Jordan, famously, but he sucked at baseball.
Yeah. Though he allegedly mostly was doing baseball because he was taking his gambling suspension.
Yeah. Also, I mean, Bo Jackson is, I think, the more classic.
Oh,
example. Somebody who's actually good at both sports. Mookie Betts,
Yes. Bowling.
PBA bowler. We'll get into bowling.
Of course. Bob Gibson. He was an amazing pitcher for the St. Louis Cardinals and a member of the Harlem Globetrotters.
Nice, dude. That's sick.
Oh, yeah. It's amazing.
You know, I went to a Globetrotters game. Me and my brother went as adults. I did not realize it's for children.
Oh, yeah. What did you think?
I don't know. I just thought it
We
was
were expecting a lot, everyone to be sitting in like full suits,
I just
smoking cigars.
I just thought it was a silly, fun thing to do.
It is a silly, fun thing to do,
But-
for children.
So we were just there.
We
We
were
were
like,
like,
you saw those commercials and didn't think, this is more for kids.
we were like two men in our mid-20s just going there for fun. But what I want to do is I want to go back and I want to get Washington Generals jerseys to make all the kids there think that we're like fans of the away team.
You're gonna try and back your way into being a part of the Harlem Globetrotters system.
They should have audience plants who go around pretending to be fans.
They
of the
should,
other team.
and it should be me, and I should be paid $100,000 a year to tour with them.
Yeah, it was pretty silly. The Globetrotters are very silly. It's a
They're
silly
so
show.
silly, man.
It was a really silly show.
Yeah, what did you... This doesn't seem like basketball at all. They're not following any of the rules.
The Generals had that big wide net to shoot into. It was like, they're cheaters. The Generals. Part of one of the key conceits was at one point the Generals distracted the referee, and then while another player went to the scoreboard and like changed the score. Which was a good strategy. Speaking of, what would be, we always say strategy. What would be a variant of Aussie rules football?
A variant
How
of
would you
Aussie
change
rules?
the game? Yeah.
I think every time someone scores a goal, they shrink the arena a little bit. So it gets tighter and tighter. Oh, arena where
Arena footy.
where it's in like a one floor home, so you really can't kick up.
Yeah.
So it's really condensed. Yeah, no, I'm thinking it's 18 on 18. Let's triple the amount of players.
okay.
Let's just get way more people in there.
Is it in the now? But that's combined with the arena.
With the
It's
smaller arena.
footy.
Yeah.
It's 30 versus 30, and just everyone's smashing each
Yeah,
other.
we it's called airline footy, where they play in an Airbus A380. Everyone's really packed together, and they're flying. They're in an airplane.
Yeah. And one of the goals is the door to the cockpit. You have to get it through there, or it's the lavatory. Those are
The
two
laboratory
ways
is
to
the one
score.
point. The cockpit is
And
the
there has to be a family with a pregnant mom also traveling. on
yeah.
the
There
same
has to be
flight.
one guy who accidentally got in there via Expedia.
yeah.
Just like, look, I this was my connecting flight. I'm trying to get from Tucson to Omaha. It's the only way.
Dude, I'm never flying. I'm never flying Qantas again. This is just Qantas getting cocky that they've never had a crash.
They've never had a crash because they always know to rebrand the airplane before it hits.
All right, my variant. I call it, instead of footy, I call it heady. And
I have an idea of where this is going.
you're only allowed to tackle head to head.
Oh.
This is the only way. Every tackle.
I thought this was based on your strategy you proposed earlier.
No, this is not a cocksucking related variant. But in heady, you have to like dive, missile, tackle head first.
into their cock.
That's head
You
to
have to
head.
take a running dive.
You're right. Head to head, but it can be either head. So you can go your actual brain up top head into their head, like two foreheads hit each other, boom. But players die constantly. It's actually more of a Highlander sport.
Yeah, it's a death sport.
Whoever's still alive at the end is the winner. Or You can also use your penis head on their forehead to tackle them, or your forehead on their penis head, or you can scissor. If you go, that's a head-to-head tackle.
Are you allowed to Newton's cradle? That's where you get 4 guys lined up and one of the guys knocks in, and then the momentum carries through all the other penis heads. Like a little, like a
Newton's
quacky-
cradle with cocks. That's pretty interesting. See,
That's pretty interesting. I'm picturing Neil deGrasse Tyson. Interesting. Now, Bill Nye, Carl Sagan being like, "That's an interesting concept."
it is interesting, but you're the only guy with a cock long enough that would make that work. Us normal cock guys, we can't make that swing.
I can make the swing though. I can do this for America.
We need 4 Tyler Durniaks lined up, just banging cocks. This is interesting. So that's my variant,
Sure
heady.
is. Yeah.
All right. Anything else we want to say about footy before we close here?
Sports shouldn't be played on ovals.
I will say there is.
There's no reason for them to not have sleeves on their shirts. They wear sleeveless shirts. Why don't they have sleeves?
Isn't that? Are you allowed to grab clothes when you make tackles?
Yeah, but even without sleeves, wouldn't that be easier to grab the hole where the sleeve
but
would
it just
be?
affects the tackling form.
Yeah, but none of them are allowed to wear sleeves.
You don't like that?
I think it for people who get very easily sunburned, like myself. I think
You would like it if they covered up. You'd like them to play in turtlenecks.
yeah, I think every sport should be played in nice thick hooded sweaters. So that none of the fans can see the lack of tone and definition in my arms.
That's for you specifically. You want to be able to wear.
No, it's
your
for
own.
anyone who, maybe has arms that look like they have seasonal effectiveness disorder.
I mean, you had a chance to recommend a variant of the sport, the fat kid at the pool rule.
Fat kid at the pool
The
rules.
fat kid at the pool rule for footy, where if you want, you can wear more clothes.
If you want, you can wear more clothes.
Yeah.
Oh, all right. So this one, it's played still in the Australian sun, but you have to wear a full snowsuit at all times.
Yeah, that's good. That's good.
It's 90 degrees outside.
Ooh, what about nude footy? What
Nude
about
footy?
Everyone. By the way, we keep saying that this is a men's sport. We should mention there is a women's footy league.
There is.
Yeah, and it seems just as brutal as the men's.
Oh yeah, they are still smashing into each other.
Still death.
Yeah, they're still constant death.
Have people died playing footy?
I'm sure.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Good
I mean,
enough.
yeah.
Good
What
enough.
do you want me to say? Yeah.
We don't need to do research.
Craig
on this
did.
pod. We should always. I should be.
We should every sport we look up, we should have a new segment. Who died?
Yeah. How many deaths in this sport? It's some of these sports is remarkable. How many people die?
Oh yeah. I mean, just in terms of sunburn.
I will say this:
Mm.
2 team names I found funny were the Collingwood Magpies
Yes.
and the North Melbourne Kangaroos.
Yeah, they're local animals. Why is that so funny to you?
It's just so Australian.
Yeah.
The Kangaroos footy team.
No, I'm sorry they can't be as sophisticated as the American teams. Was your team named after a meat packing plant?
I will say I was surprised that there's no New Zealand footy team.
It's just not. It's only played in really one state in Australia.
Yeah, I mean, no, it is. Come on, you got to give the other states
the other
some
states
credit.
play, but it's just not.
It's a Victoria.
there. Yeah, like because it was all rugby league in New South Wales.
They describe it as the most popular per capita domestic sport in the world. That's what one video said. That like per capita for how many people live in Australia, more people attend footy games than any other domestic sport.
That is my favorite Australianism is categorizing everything per capita.
Because they only have like 80,000 people or whatever.
So they'll do that for the Olympics. They have their when they show medal counts, they show all their medal counts per capita.
Oh,
For your number of gold medals per 1,000 people.
So U.S. is not number one.
Yeah, so because Australia has a very good history of sports, especially at the Olympics. So Australia is usually like 1 or 2
medals per capita, baby.
medals per capita. Except when Fiji got their gold medal, and they shot right up that list.
That's funny because how many people are in Fiji?
Not a lot.
Not a lot.
1 capita.
Got good water though.
They do. That's what made them so good at rugby.
Well,
They were their hands were used to holding those square bottles.
they were throwing the
They were
bottles
throwing the
around
bottle.
for the rugby games. All right. We're gonna wrap it here. Thank you so much for listening or watching. My name is Uri.
I'm Tyler.
You can follow me at the.uri.show.
Follow me at Tyler_Durniak_comedy.
If you watch this on YouTube, like and subscribe. If you're listening at home, then make sure to give us 5 stars on iTunes. That helps us out. And DM us, text us.
If
Let us know you listened.
if you've tried Hustle Milk, let us know how it is.
Yeah.
If you have received life-altering injuries from Hustle Milk, you know what you were getting into.
All right. Thanks for listening, everybody.
You know.